everyone, I hope you're doing okay. My name is Laura from Allegro Conspirator and today we're going to be talking about Baroque ornamentation. So this is especially important to people like myself as a recorder player. A lot of our repertoire does come from the Baroque era and earlier. But this will apply to you if you are playing Baroque repertoire on other instruments, especially something like piano or harpsichord, potentially oboe or flute. So just a quick rundown, the Baroque period was from 1650 to 1750, give or take, and is home to composers like J.S. Bach, Handel, Telemann and Vivaldi. Of course there are more than that, they're just the four that come to my head first. So this especially applies to you if you are going to go to university to study music and you are looking at studying Baroque repertoire. But also this will help you get extra bonus points in your exams and any performances and competitions you might be taking part in. So if you are at university or a conservatoire studying music, or you are in a performance or an exam or something of a higher level, if you have a Baroque piece, especially with a slow movement with repeats, on the repeats you will be expected to ornament it. So I'm just going to go through some helpful tips and useful hints that might help you with your ornamentation. I should point out with exams that you don't necessarily have to do the repeats in your pieces. Sometimes they are marked as optional and sometimes they say no repeats, or sometimes they say yes with repeats. So if you are doing a Baroque piece for one of your graded exams, it is worth checking that out. But as I said, if it says you need to do the repeats or you would like to do the repeats, then you will definitely get bonus points for showing historical accuracy if you ornament it. So it's worth noting that during the Baroque period, a lot of the music was written for upper class people to enjoy, and the whole point was to be a little bit flashy and virtuosic, and this is why that we ornament it today, to show historical accuracy and awareness of the pieces that we're playing. I mean, if you were to check out any sort of performance of a Handel or Bach sonata or something, there is likely to be ornamentation on it compared to what is written in the score. Although a lot of the time the ornamentation was improvised, I find it helps, because I'm terrible at improvisation, it helps to kind of have at least a rough plan in my head of how I'm going to ornament it the second time round. It usually does turn out a little different every time because I do try to make it sort of different each time and not the same thing all the time. And I do find it helps as well to listen to performances on like Spotify, YouTube Music, that sort of thing, of the piece that I'm playing, to listen to how other performers have ornamented it before. I never copy, but it gives me ideas and inspiration. So the first and foremost, most easiest way of ornamenting something on the second time out is to add trills. It's very important to realise on recorder, I did not realise till I went to university that there are two types of trills. We as recorder players, I'm not sure if it's the same for flute players and like oboe players and things like that, we have two types of trills, which is the modern trill and the Baroque trill. And it is very important if you are playing Baroque music to do the Baroque trill. And also with a lot of Baroque music, the trill will start from the note above and then go below. So the piece that I'm going to be playing at the end of this is the second movement from the Telemann Sonata in F major for treble recorder, which is a largo, which means very slow. It is really important, especially in that piece, to hold off on the trills and just enjoy those dissonances before you do go for it. Another thing that's worth mentioning is just not to add them in anywhere and everywhere you can think of, because sometimes you can actually make it more difficult for yourself. If you're trying to do a trill on a bit that is really fast, then you're going to mess up the rest of it or something, then just don't do it. And also it is worth recording yourself playing it with your idea of your ornamentation, and then you can hear if it sounds alright, sounds okay, sounds right, like it would fit there as well. Because sometimes you think, oh, you know, a trill would be really great there. And then when you actually listen to it back, it's like, no, actually it doesn't fit. The first part of the Telemann Sonata in F major movement 2 goes like this, as written. If you're ornamenting it second time round, this is what I like to do, but obviously everyone can be different. Just adds a little bit of flavour. Okay, so another easy way of adding ornamentation and texture and flavour and all those things is to do scalic runs. Obviously for this it is very important that you know your scales and you've been practising your scales and you can play them at speed. Because it is worth mentioning that adding all this ornamentation in, you still must be in time with the music and with your accompanist. It's no good adding all these ornaments and then you end up going out of time. So my favourite way to do it, especially if I have an octave jump, say from a bottom C to a top C, is to just add in a scale in the key that I'm in from that C to that C. Or going down, it works going down as well. I also do this in the Telemann Sonata that I'll be playing in a minute, but for this example I would like to show you part of the fourth movement of the Handel Sonata in F major for treble recorder. Little scalic runs like that are easy ways to add in ornamentation. This can also work with adding sort of arpeggios instead of scales as well. So the last easy way I can think of to add ornamentation and flavour to your Baroque pieces is just to add passing notes. If you have a passage that say goes G, E, C, you can go G, F, E, D, C. Add passing notes, a bit more flavour. And they don't necessarily have to be passing notes next to it either. If it's sort of part of the chord or anything, you can just go and add bits to it. I do that as well. Sometimes you will find, especially playing a complete sonata, if you have like a vivace or a presto, an allegro movement that's very fast, you might not have time to ornament it because there's just so much else going on. So this is especially valuable in the slower movements when you have that time and you can just have a little bit of fun with it. Okay, now just to demonstrate kind of what I'm getting out of ornamentation and everything, I'm going to play for you the second movement of the Telemann Sonata in F major for treble recorder, which is a largo. With the repeats, on the first time I will play it as written in the score, and in the second time round I will play it with my ornamentation. I feel it is worth mentioning very quickly that this Telemann piece, this first movement, which is a vivace, and this second movement are both on the grade 6 syllabus for Associated Board and Trinity College for recorder. So if you are playing this piece for your exam, you can just play it as written. You won't lose any marks for that, but you will probably most definitely, that doesn't make any sense, probably most definitely, you know what I mean. You'll probably get extra marks for showing historical awareness of the type of piece that you're playing, as well as showing your prowess with the ornamentation. Hopefully that goes to demonstrate just how adding ornamentation to your pieces can just make them more exciting, colourful and flavoursome, I guess. I like to think it's more sort of cheese and onion, salt and vinegar myself. Anyway, that's it from me today. I hope you found this informative and helpful. If you have any more questions at all, please just pop them down in the comments and I will answer as many as I can. Please leave me a like, it helps me out a lot. Please subscribe for future music content from me. I'm obviously a recorder player. I also do a lot of other classical and Baroque stuff, and I do pop, rock and metal vocals and guitar as well. I also do more educational and tutorial videos. I also put some of my performances up here, and I also do a lot of discussions as well. I have only just started on here a few days ago, so I just want to say thank you to those of you that are here already, and I'm completely overwhelmed with the response already. I didn't think it would be this good this early on. Anyway, that's it from me today, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye!